all changed for one of Wales's most important players in Brennan Johnson. Of course, he still remains at Tottenham, but it's no longer Ange Postecoglou in charge. It's now Thomas Frank. And Thomas Frank is a manager who, both in his time in the EFL and Premier League with Brentford, has shown a real aptitude for getting wide players to be destructive in terms of their goal scoring and creative assets. And down that line, I think it could be a really exciting appointment for Johnson. If we look back at previous players that Frank has had, whether it's Brian Mbomo, who's just made the move to Manchester United, Saïd Benrahma, who moved on to West Ham, of course, Kevin Schade last season, all these players came into Brentford with decent reputations, and either immediately in Schade's case or over time in Mbomo's have become players to rack up really good numbers in terms of goals and assists. There are a couple of issues though in terms of Johnson's pathway to the first team next season. He's a player who the last seen for Wales playing up front, but generally plays on the right hand side for Tottenham, and probably seen as his best position as a genuine winger down that right hand side. But they've gone out, Spurs, and bought Mohamed Kudus, who I think we can expect, despite playing quite a lot through the middle for West Ham, it seems like he's been brought in to play off that right hand side. And this is a bit of a pattern for Thomas Frank's wingers, where it's very, very rare that he plays with a wide player playing on their natural side. If you look at someone like Benrahma, who is a right-footed player who ended up playing a lot of his career at West Ham and onwards at right wing. At Brentford, he was used as an inside forward off the left-hand side, and it was Mbomo, the left-footed player, who played out on the right-hand side. Schade, the player currently playing wide left, is a right-footer. Johan Wiese, either playing wide left or through the middle, is also a right-footer. So it's really rare that we see Frank employ players on the natural sides. And even though that means Brennan Johnson, who normally plays off the right, would play off the left, it's not really a position we've seen him play that often. But I'd be surprised if we see him played as a genuine wide player. But what may be more likely is that he's employed as another striking option, as a player that can play through the middle. Now, Tottenham's striking options aren't great. Dominic Solanke had an okay season last season. Richarlison, not a great season either. The key problem for Johnson is if he is going to be employed playing off the left-hand side onto his right foot, which I think suits him as a player. He's not a particularly creative player. His crossing isn't great, his passing isn't great, but he's someone who gets into good positions, and therefore drifting in off that left-hand side onto his right foot could be a good place for him to play. But Heung-min Son plays off the left-hand side for Tottenham, and even though he's a player who may be a struggle for form, he's club captain and someone who I think we can expect Frank to be employed to get the best out of rather than just drop him or look for alternatives. So there could be an opportunity for Johnson to play through the middle where they don't have great options. But I think the key thing for me is that Frank is someone who develops players, and not necessarily just in the infancy of their career. Like if you look at, say, Benrahma, or you look at Mbomo, these are players who weren't necessarily young when they came to Brentford, but developed into, you look at Mbomo now going to Manchester United in his late 20s. It's not necessarily youth development, it's just player development that Frank is incredibly strong at. And also in terms of playing style and the way that I expect Spurs to play under Frank, it won't be the possession at any cost style that we saw from Postecoglou for the most part of his reign. I think we'll see Spurs happy to sit out of possession and happy to attack and transition relatively often. And we know that Johnson is someone with his searing pace who's really, really adept at running in behind and capitalising on that space in behind. So I think there are stylistic positives for him. I think there are also, the fact is Frank will come in and see Johnson as an opportunity to work with a player. He feels like a very Brentford player. It's kind of weird in my mind that Brennan Johnson never popped up playing for Brentford at some point in his career so far. I think Frank would enjoy working with him. But it's just that my one concern is the fact that his profile of being a kind of old-fashioned winger playing on their natural side, it's rare to see Frank use that kind of player. So I think we might see him shift position. But either way, I think it's an exciting appointment for Spurs. I think Johnson should benefit from that. And for the Wales national team, maybe having Johnson playing a variety of positions and Frank working out where he can be most effective. Because last season, of course, he struggled for form for his club until he scored that all-important goal in the Conference League final, which should give him big confidence. But hopefully Frank's able to develop him as he has done before, and that should be benefit for the Wales team.